Hi guys, welcome back to Tara Makes It Up. Today I am showing you the H&M makeup collection. I think this was launched about a year or two ago now, I can't exactly remember when, but I just wanted to do a rundown using all the products. Some I've tried, some I haven't, and I wanted to see, is the brand good? Is it worth investing in? Obviously it is a drugstore price point, but still, which pieces are worth picking up and which pieces are worth avoiding? So the very first thing I'm going to try is the BB cream. I have got the shade Golden Sand. Now they did have an all-day liquid foundation which looked really nice, but I felt like for me I wanted to try the BB cream because I've heard less about that. I like the fact it's in a squeezy tube, it's 30ml, and this one came in at $6.99. So I'm going to do it with my fingers because that's generally how I would do a BB cream. So it goes on quite dark, but I noticed when I was testing out the colours in the store as well, they definitely kind of blend into your own skin tone. So it's not crazy dewy. It's the tiniest bit of coverage. Again, I'd imagine with a BB cream you wouldn't get a lot of coverage, but I like that. I think that's quite nice actually so far. It feels quite velvety when it goes on, but it feels really nice on the skin. It feels soft, my skin feels moisturised without feeling tacky. So far so good. So the next product I'm very excited to try. This is the Cover Up Concealer, and I went for the shade, where is it, Soft Sand. Now, I will say with the concealers and the foundations in general, there was quite a good amount of shades considering the price point. Not a crazy amount, but definitely more than I would expect and more than I've seen with other kind of drugstore price points. So the concealer was $4.99. Doe for applicator type concealer, which are usually my favourite kinds. It feels very creamy actually. Again, it kind of reminds me of the same feeling as the Urban Decay Weightless Cover Concealer. So first impressions of that is definitely a lot more translucent than the Urban Decay one. Really nice though. It definitely blends in really nicely. There's a nice amount of yellow in there to cover any darkness. So it's going with a little bit more coverage, and I'm going to try using my ring finger now just to pat it in. So it is building nicely. I just think it doesn't have quite the same opaqueness as say like an Urban Decay concealer or a NARS Radiant Creamy concealer. However, for the price point, I'm quite pleased with that. I feel like it pats in nicely. And I think if I set it, I'll be able to still look nice and bright under my eyes. It definitely is a bit more dewy, so if you have oily skin, that might be an issue for you. The next product I have is the Perfectionist Finishing Powder. And one thing I will say as well about all the packaging is it has this nice kind of black, white and gold theme running throughout, and it's very slim as well, which really pleases me. It feels like that mimics a high-end brand well. So I have the Perfectionist Finishing Powder. I went for Ivory as I don't think they did a translucent one. This one came in at $7.99. So I'm going to try this as a powder all over and to set my makeup as well. So now this does feel like a really nice powder. It feels more like a MAC blot powder. They did do a different kind of powder as well, I think a mattifying one or something that was a bit heavier in coverage. But I think this one's nice because it works quite well under the eyes as well. It doesn't kind of cling to the makeup. So I'm quite happy with that. Again, I'm seeing already now where I've got a bit of redness coming through where I think I would have needed a little bit more of a high coverage concealer just around my nose. Because obviously I'm just wearing a BB cream, so I've got a very real skin look. However, I think I'm going to do quite a statement eye because I've gone with like a minimal skin look. So I've got some products to show you that I've already tried before that I know are wonderful and I really recommend. I've used them before in previous videos, especially the eye palette I'm going to show you. So the eye palette, this is Aubergine Dream. Love the packaging. You get 9 colours in this. This one was $9.99. This one, again, I think for autumn is such a nice palette, and I have actually done a video before with these colours in, which I will link in an iCard somewhere above here, the video that I used them in. Really nice. However, one thing to note with H&M makeup, I find that with their single eyeshadows tend to be that slightly bit more pigmented and blend slightly better. So the palettes are still good, but the single shadows literally, I think, blow a lot of other drugstore eyeshadows out the water in the fact that they come in lots of different shades, they come in great neutrals, great brights, but also they have a real array of finishes. So they do pearl finishes, they do matte finishes, they do glitter finishes and kind of shimmery finishes, metallic. So it's really good seeing like a more drugstore price point giving you that option. The single eyeshadows are, I think they're $4.99, the High Impact Eye Colour. That one's Brownie Points. I might use a bit of that in a minute. So I've just added some brows because I couldn't find a brow product in my colour. When I went to store, they were out of stock of quite a few of the brow products. So I'm going to go on to the eye product that I'm really excited about. This one is the Fluid Eyes colour, and this one is in Mulberry Mist, which is a beautiful, really kind of vibrant burgundy red. And I just thought this would be really fun to try on the eyes because it's a new product and it's kind of like a liquid eyeshadow. And I've got to say as well, actually, I'm going out for drinks tonight, so I really hope that these products look good and I like them. So I'm just getting some makeup brushes ready. And I'm just going to go straight onto the lid. I mean, wow, look at that. That is pretty amazing. Oh my goodness. This could either go one of two ways. I'm going to start with less first and just buff it out and see what happens. So I'm going to take it from there. Oh my goodness, this is beautiful. I really hope this is going to look as good as I hope it is. Such a nice colour. So it's opaque, it's intense. It is drying down to a kind of powder finish, but it's starting to dry out the edges, so I think I need to add a bit more. So I think if you wanted to wash, you'd want to start with a lot less, but I'm actually going to take this into my socket now. I'm going to have to do my eyes closed and then I have to work quite quickly. So I'm going to take a sort of 217 shape brush. And I would say with this, it looks like you're going to have to work quite quickly, but I really like those colours. Those colours are beautiful. And then I'm just going to intensify a little bit more near the lash line to get a bit more of that red in. Let's try it with fingers. Let's see how it works with fingers. I'm curious to see if that makes a difference. It's a bit more patchy with fingers. I feel like you're going to be better off using it with a brush, I think. So I'm just building up the intensity and I'm going a little bit more into where the socket was. Just going to try and blend that up a bit. But that colour is incredible. So now I've done kind of one eye, what I would say is you definitely have to work fast with these because it does dry quite quick. So I'm taking that a little bit under and I'm going to go to a smaller, more domed brush. And I'm just going to blend that under the bottom lash line so it makes it a little bit more smoky. And I think what might even work quite well with this, if you take a little bit off the brush so you can be a bit more precise with it. Yeah, that definitely makes it a little bit more neat. So on reflection, I feel like now I've got some into the underneath part of the lower lash line as well. Absolutely love the colour. I think the colour is stunning and it'll be really interesting when I'm editing this back if I like it as much in terms of the colour as I do right now. However, it does start to get patchy as you layer it more. I don't know if the camera is picking that up as much. So I feel like it's a very cool product. It feels a bit more editorial than maybe an everyday product. And I do feel like it's going to test your patience with blending. So I love the idea. I'm just not sure if the formula is completely foolproof in terms of everyday person using it. And I think obviously being a makeup artist, I could kind of make it work, but it was tricky even for me because of the formula. So I feel like this one is a bit hit and miss. I'm going to see how it looks when I edit it to decide how I feel. And I've got to say as well, actually, the Fluid Eye colour, that was $6.99. So next part I'm going to use is a pencil. This is the Colour Essence Eye Pencil, which is $3.99, the eyeliner. And I have the shade Mighty Oak, but I couldn't see this on the website. However, it was in stock when I went into store. So I'm going to go this into the inside waterline. And this is like a slightly off black colour. It's almost like a bit browny, a bit greeny, which I thought would be nice with these kind of colours. So I'm going to take that along my lower waterline, so just using a domed brush. And these ones are really nice in that they're quite long lasting. I find that these ones, they're not super smudgy like a Rimmel Scandalised pencil. However, they do kind of stay put quite well. So I think these are excellent value for money. And I have used these before as well, so I know they're really good. And I'm also going to take that into the top lash line. So I'm going to do some little dots, more kind of like on the outer part of my eye. So now you can really start to see where it is that little bit patchy. So I think what I might do actually is try a bit of the powder eyeshadow on top. So I'm going to take Brownie Points, the brown that I used earlier, and I'm just going to see what happens if I go through softly, sort of where it's starting to be a bit patchy, to see if I can just soften that a little bit. So this is like a deep dark brown, just because I'm going out tonight and I would like my makeup to still look nice. And this is quite like a red toned brown anyway. So this is definitely helping the situation. I really, really love their powder eyeshadows. So I think just adding that brown has made it that little bit, it's kind of softened it, but still kept the deep smokiness. So I'm really liking that. Again, there's not really any fall down from the powder shadow, which is pretty good. So again, I know I like those because I've used them before. The next thing I have is the mascara, and I went for the Control Chic mascara. There's quite a few to choose from. I'm going to curl my lashes because I would always do that anyway. So for mascara, let's give this a go. I'm going to do tops and bottoms. Now the comb, I feel like again there was quite a few like large combs. There was nothing super skinny, so I'm going to use, let's go in, and most of the compacts apart from the eyeshadows do have mirrors in as well, so I really like that. You guys know about my struggle with mascaras. I feel like mascara is the hardest thing to find one that I love, but this is pretty good actually. I mean, if this lasts and stays on well, the way it's making my lashes look gets a massive thumbs up. Even my bottom lashes, I feel like with the kind of smoky colours, I want it to still have that nice intensity. So mascara, straight away, I feel like I know what my issue with it is. It's almost too heavy in that I've curled my lashes and already the lashes are like dropping slightly. So this one is nice for volume, but I just don't know, it feels a bit heavy. It feels like my lashes are falling down a little bit already since I curled them. And my other mascaras don't do that, so I feel like that's my only issue with this. So that's the mascara. Again, it's nice, but it's not the best mascara I've ever tried. And then the last product I think that I have is the cream lipsticks. Now these ones were $7.99, and these I love. I've used these before, I know I love them. The lip pencils are really nice. The only one product that I tried, which I literally threw it away after I tried it, I bought it quite a long time ago before I made this video, which is why I don't have it to show you, is the liquid lipstick. Now I tried the liquid lipstick and not only did it feel dry and horrible, you could literally do this and it just peeled right off. Now that was quite a long time ago that I bought one. It was when the collection first kind of came about, so I don't know if maybe they've changed the formula since then. Perhaps they have. However, I would say if it's still the same as it was when they first made it, avoid, avoid, avoid. That was the one thing that I really didn't enjoy from H&M. So the cream lipsticks, however, get a huge thumbs up for me. I love the gold packaging. And I think because I've gone so full on the eyes, I just want to have something muted with the lipstick. And this colour is Cream Chestnut, and I go back to it time and time again because it's such a good like My Lips but better shade. It's slightly browny but not too brown that it looks a bit 90s. So that's the makeup so far. I feel like I want to go back in with a concealer and have a little tidy and just see if I can kind of go back where I've still got redness coming through. So I'm going to go around my nose. I'm going to do a tiny bit more as well under my eyes because it does still feel a little bit grey under there. So I'm just going to have a little clean up and see how it goes. If it looks just that little bit fresher. So that's just adding the tiniest bit more concealer. Now, blusher wise, guys, I did have a H&M blusher, but I can't for the life of me find it anywhere. It was called Cameo Pink, and it's one that you will have seen me use on my channel loads before, so I know I love it. However, like I said, I can't find it. So I'm really sorry about that, as that would have been a great product to show you because I know it's really good. It's kind of like a nothingy, nearly there blusher. So I'm going to use, what to use. So I'm going to use a replacement blusher and then come back to you and tell you what I think. So that's the finished look, guys. My hair has gone a little bit weird because it's kind of half dry, half wet. I generally really like H&M makeup. I think it does deserve the hype. I think it is a great makeup line, especially for the price point. However, there are certain things that are definitely worth getting over other things. So the eyeshadows and the eye creams, things like these are amazing. Definitely worth the hype. The lipsticks and the eyeliners I particularly love. I feel like the base products, I really like the powder's nice, but the BB cream and the concealer, I had high hopes for those and they didn't wow me, if I'm honest. So, I mean, the BB cream I liked more than the concealer. I didn't mind the BB cream so much, but it didn't amaze me. So those ones I would not be as fussed about, but definitely the lipsticks. I think the lipsticks are incredible. This liquid eyeshadow, I feel like this is so hit and miss. I think even looking now that it's completely dry, it doesn't have a smooth blended edge, and I really tried to blend it well. So I love the colour. I'm really interested to see how well it lasts, and I did blend in some of the Browning Points eyeshadow over the top into the crease. And I love the colour. The colour is true to how it looks in here, but I feel like it's a bit more of an editorial product and that it's quite difficult to use. And I think it's dried to a powder, so when I touch it, it doesn't feel uncomfortable on my eyelids. It doesn't feel tight or anything like that. but it definitely hasn't kind of blended perfectly. I feel like I have edges. So that might frustrate me a bit tonight, but I'm just gonna go with it. So that is the H&M makeup, guys. Let me know if you've tried the H&M collection, if you have favourites, or there's anything that you love from this video, or something that perhaps disappointed you slightly within the range, and let me know what you thought of the video. So I'd absolutely love it if you guys subscribe, leave me some comments down below, and I'll see you for the next one. Thanks very much, guys. Bye.